Here in western China there's a village called Li Quan, where the people look a little white, or at least they have European features. So a historian named Dubs theorized that they were the descendants of Romans who were captured by the Parthians and transported east. But the concept of white people in Asia in ancient times isn't as strange as you might think. First of all, there was the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. Now this governed a lot of Central Asia from the 3rd to the 2nd century BC, and as the name suggests, they were largely governed by Greeks, the descendants of people who came over during Alexander's conquests. Then there were the Radhanites. Now these were Jewish merchants who largely controlled trade on the Silk Road from about 500 to 1000 AD, and they worked alongside Christian traders, merchants, and also missionaries to bring goods back from China and export ideas to China. For instance, in the 7th century, there was a missionary from the Middle East named Alapin, and allegedly anyway, and he brought Christianity over to China, and that's where the Nestorian Christians in China came from. Now, we won't delve too far into Nestorian Christians, but you should look them up, they're pretty interesting. They survived until about the 13th century or thereabouts, despite numerous laws against them, but the fact that they exist shows that people did make the journey between China and Europe, or at least the Middle East. But back to white people. In ancient Chinese texts, there were descriptions of people living not far from where I am now, with fair hair or red hair and blue eyes, and for a long time historians just dismissed these records. But the discovery of the Tara mummies changed that. Now, the Tara mummies are a collection of mummies found all over western China and eastern Kazakhstan, and some of them are very well preserved. Well, in fact, most of them date from around 2000 BC to around 500 BC. For instance, you've got the Churchin man. Now, he was found with red hair and European features, and he probably belonged to one of the many kingdoms that were essentially white, like the Lulan Kingdom and the Chocolate Kingdom on the Silk Road. People from kingdoms like Lulan and Chocolate produced art very similar to the Europeans around the same time, and Chinese art often portrays people from eastern Kazakhstan and western China as white, and they're often paying tribute to the emperor. But I'm pretty much going to leave the conversation there, because I think I've offered enough possible theories as to why some people in western China may have European features, which are not the Roman theory, but I know how sort of racist and messy these conversations get, so I'm going to pretty much leave it there. Actually, no, I'm going to add one more bit onto the end here, because I've been calling them white all video, but what you define as white could be very different, and nobody knows any of this for sure. I'm just offering you theories that you might have found a little bit interesting. And if you're interested, I'm at Jiayu Pass, which is the westernmost limit of the Great Wall. So for a long time, this was the end of China, and where a lot of people were exiled from.